My guests today are filmmaker Alex and director of photography Andrew, who also is a partner with Prelude Films. Before we talk about your careers, give us a little bit of your respective backgrounds. Why don't you go first, Alex?
I grew up in Austin, Texas, and that's kind of where I started getting an interest in the process of like making films, specifically in high school. I got to go to the Cannes Film Festival my senior year, and that kind of really jump-started a lot of like, interest in seeing like how the industry actually operates. Grew up with little to no family in the industry, so that was kind of my first introduction to just kind of what's out there when it comes to film.
Cool. A little bit about yourself.
Yeah, I always kind of say I got into film unintentionally. I went to school for graphic design, had a background in photography, but it wasn't until one of my good friends, Josh, he went back to graduate school for film and basically asked me to shoot his project. So it was kind of just like baptism by fire, taking it on. So I was taking off time of work to shoot films and different stuff, and then fell in love with being on set, working with like tangible things, light, people, locations, and made that jump in 2018 to do it full time.
Well, we're glad you guys found your way into the film industry, local film industry. Andrew, tell us about Prelude Films.
Yeah, so Prelude Films is it's a production company based out of here, based out of Fort Worth. We've been around since 2018, so we celebrated 5 years on June 1st. And so primarily we're a commercial production company. We shoot a lot of, nowadays it's 30 seconds, 15 seconds, now you're getting down to 7 seconds. So it's a lot of commercial content. We also do a lot of branded documentary work and kind of starting to take steps back into the narrative side, which was what our roots were in. And so one of those films was Search and Destroy, which we're going to talk about, and then we have another one, another short film, Smoke, that's coming out later, and then are in development for the first.
Well, I enjoyed watching Search and Destroy. It's a short film, so folks want to watch it. It's 15 minutes long. It's really fun. It's about these. It looks like preteen boys during the summer, and one of their friends disappears, and they're on a mission to find their lost friend. This was, of course, a Prelude film production, but you were the filmmaker, so tell us about the background of this short film.
Yeah, so I've known the guys at Prelude for since I was an undergrad. That's kind of how we all met. We all went to the University of Texas at Arlington, and this was my graduate thesis at UT Austin. So that's where I've been for the last few years, and this was my thesis film. So I kind of wanted my thesis film to be this culmination of like, what have my experiences been in the industry? Obviously making shorts, and then working in the industry. And I think sometimes a lot of film school is very like contained, and it's hard to bring the industry into like that sphere. And so my idea was I have experience doing both. Like let me just mesh the worlds and make something that feels pretty indicative of sort of my journey so far. So I called these guys up and pitched them an idea, and then we ended up just sort of reconnecting and making another project together.
We'll set up the spray paint scene. We're going to show it to our viewers, but go ahead and introduce it.
Yeah, so this is kind of where the main character figures out where his friend is, and he's hanging out with the older kids, and not them. They have this tradition of going to the pool every first day of summer, and he doesn't like the fact that they feel rejected, that he would rather go and spend time with them. So out of petty revenge, being young, he decides to take a can of the white turf paint that's used in like sports, and go and have a little fun on the high school bully's car.
Okay, cool. We'll show that.
I'll hit you up later.
Are we good?
You're good.
What do we do? We are gonna make art.
Are you insane? This is Tyler's truck.
So what's in the works for Prelude Films? What's coming up?
Yeah, so on the narrative side of things, we have Search and Destroy. It premiered at Oak Cliff Film Festival.
Oh yeah, I meant to mention
and
that.
So
congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, but it still has other festivals, so it's beginning its festival run. So there's more coming along with that, and then also we just We shot a short film at the end of last year called Smoke, which is about a firefighter returning home after the worst shift of his career. So it's kind of dealing with mental health within first responders. And so we were having the cast and crew screening in September, and then we just started submitting to festivals for that one. And so that one, might be a little bit to see it for the general public, but that's the next project coming down. We're in process for developing a couple different features, kind of figuring out, trying to dip toes into what that will look like, as well as just doing kind of our traditional commercial work and the things that pay the bills for us to enable us just to keep on making fun and making fun stuff.
Your traditional stuff is beautiful as well. I've checked those out. So it's all very cinematic, which helps.
Yeah.
One last question. Film Fort Worth is doing a lot to promote help you guys out, people like you. We're seeing more large films come to Fort Worth. Several recently. Where are we in Fort Worth's growth, and how big can Fort Worth be as a film destination?
I think since you're probably more based here, I'll let you start and then I'll.
Yeah, well, I think Fort Worth's definitely having a spot on the map in regards to production. There's obviously 1883 and Bass Reeves. There's a lot of films that are hiring locally, and I forget what the statistic is. It's for every I don't want to quote something.
It's not their website. It's a lot. Yeah. It's a big return.
But basically, it's obviously they're paying crew, but then from hotels to laundromats to restaurants, and there's definitely a ripple effect to the economy, and so I think it's just kind of now starting to gear up. I think the infrastructure I wouldn't say is quite there. There's no big studios in Fort Worth to be able to really be able to build a big set. The rental side of things in Fort Worth is a step behind from Dallas, and so I think there's definitely ways in which we can grow and improve. But I think what is cool is that there's a unique approach to it. I think the way of doing things in Fort Worth is unique, and it's just friendlier, and so I think that has a place within the film industry and the way that things have been done in Fort Worth. And so, I think it's just at the beginning. It's kind of what it feels like.
Yeah, I feel also too I think Fort Worth in general is just an inviting town, and where it's now there's a lot of encouragement to bring production here, and I think once infrastructure sort of catches up with that, I think you'll see just. I think we're right at the point where you'll see there's just so much potential ahead, and that's very exciting.
Okay.
It's sky's the limit in terms of what can come to the town, and who comes and who stays. That's another big thing too that I feel I'm a big advocate for. I'm personally I'm not enticed to go outside of Texas at the moment. I love the idea of being able to build something here and stay, and help promote and grow, and just plant roots that just will run deep in the next 10, 15, 20 years.
Okay, well, you guys are a part of that. Is it fair to say the talent may be a little ahead of the infrastructure right now? It seems like we're not short on talent, directors, actors, producers, but some infrastructure needs to catch up.
Yeah, I think infrastructure, but I think the talent pool here of just other creative production companies to directors to just even, your crew's creative too. Everybody that works on a set has, creative problem solving to, the person that's actually behind the camera or directing G&E crews. And so I think every step of it, kind of is, you kind of have to be creative in that way. But I think it's just also, Fort Worth's a pretty diverse place too. You have a lot of different ethnicities. There's a lot of, I would just say, a unique perspective. From writers and directors.
Yeah, and I think diversity is going to be a strong suit too. You'll just start seeing more and more and more, and there's so much culture. There's so much, different types of lies and stories that they're just gonna keep coming out, and I think it's just gonna make for a more dynamic and creative town. So I think that's fun. I think that's exciting.
I want to thank Lowtown Studios for offering this space to us as well, so thank you for that. Thank you guys for what you do for the local scene, and we'll be following you. Plug your social media.
Yeah, my Instagram is @Rosales.film. That's my website too.
Okay, easy. Awesome.
Easy. Prelude Films is just at Prelude Films, and website's prelude.tv, and then my personal is just at Andrew Zapp.
Okay, Alex and Andrew, thanks for your time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you for having us.
Our pleasure.